This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning. But we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 4th of April 2019, and I am 2J.
I am 2M.
And I am Miss K, your host. Again, in case you missed it, this is Winning Headlines. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Daily Nation, State of the Nation Nightmare for Uhuru. The Star, corruption as bad as murder, says magistrate in governor case. And The Standard, 6-meter road may crush top judge's career. Wow. I think before we start on these headlines, we cannot forget that today was the day when the president gave the State of the Nation address. Let's give a short commentary on what we think.
Yeah.
You know, I thought for the first time, the president is not, or rather is not being led by the nation. The president is leading the nation. And there's a reason why I say this. It's because he was being primed by the Fourth Estate, right, to make some serious decisions today. But he stood his ground, and he showed he was president, right?
Yeah.
He did not budge. He made that speech a bit vague, maybe boring, but he,
I think the most important thing is if you look at like the Daily Nation, for example, the
State of the Nation
media
nightmare
was baiting the president.
yes,
And it was everywhere on social media, online.
Social media, yesterday's headlines, the last bullet from The Standard. And I really would congratulate the president on not allowing himself to be baited.
absolutely.
But I have to also call out to M here for falling prey to the baiting that was being widespread by the Fourth Estate and informing us categorically yesterday that today he will make
Heads will roll.
big, bold, audacious statement. What pretense?
What says you to
I have two things to say. First, I was not following the media, I was following my mind. Second, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Mind you, the clock is broken, right? Don't forget the fact that it's broken. It's not functioning.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
All right, then.
But guys, again,
Yes.
all right, as underwhelming as the president's speech was, there's a point that he made, and I'm glad
That he did.
he said it. He said the fight against corruption will be fought within the rule of law.
He said it's also a just war.
It's a just war, all right? Let's not fight it using narratives in the media, you know, character assassinating people, Kinoti giving documents to people. Actually, the person who should learn the most from Uhuru's speech
It's Kinoti himself, I think.
Kinoti himself.
I think.
Yeah.
And I agree with him. The Fourth Estate has taken upon itself the role of being the investigator, the jury, and the executioner.
Absolutely.
They put your name up, they put everything they've investigated against you, and they pass judgment on whether or not your guilt is implicit.
Yeah.
So
It would be one thing if what they did was informed and intelligent, but a lot of it is just based in speculation.
It's based on,
as we say, unverified gossip.
Yes, absolutely.
and they're not verifying the gossip, so we're just consuming it wholesale.
Oh yes, oh
And
yes.
we are calling out the people of Kenya for falling for the baiting.
Yes,
Follow your leader, the president, accept what he told you, and note that that was the State of the Nation.
yes. And most of all, I congratulate the president for standing up to the media. Don't let them shake you. Simama wima.
On to our headlines. Since we began there,
With the nation. That's true.
State of the Nation nightmare for Uhuru, no more nightmares. Can sleep and rest easy.
Yes,
He did it.
absolutely.
I think this was a bold headline to make on the day of the State of the Nation, because I could have gone either way. Now look at them. It's an incorrect headline. It made them look quite silly.
What made it a
Kind of
nightmare?
reminds me of the debacle for the US presidential election and calling it before it actually happened.
Yeah, State of the Nation nightmare for Uhuru.
I think they have successfully conditioned the people and the public to be against the president. They're actually forcing the president's hand, right?
That is correct.
So that he makes a move, and then the president is seen to be reacting to the people, right? And these are the manufactured thoughts and headlines by the media.
Yeah.
But I'd like us to talk about the headlines themselves and bring ourselves back to our criteria. We have a 3-part criteria that we use to break down the headlines for you. We ask ourselves 3 questions. Is this headline topical or is it speculative? Is it groundbreaking or is it what? Do you guys? No, that's effective or lazy. That's the 3rd headline. Is it repetitive or is it groundbreaking? And finally, is it thoughtful or just plain lazy? It's repetitive.
Yes.
It's a lazy.
Yes.
It reminds me of yesterday's bullet.
But do you know,
I say
again,
we toss it.
maybe it is also thoughtful, but on the flip.
On which
It is
flip?
thoughtful so that they make the public
Think.
against the president. They want to pit the president against the public.
Yeah, I mean, it's agenda seeking.
Yeah.
And we know that that's what the media
That's the
is all
agenda.
about.
So
Yeah.
maybe it's not lazy. It is thoughtful in that sense.
To serve their own purposes.
Yeah, it's got some evil objective.
All right, I think we
As we have said in the past, borrowing from Roger Stone, the media is either
Evil or lazy.
and
Or both.
in your case, it's both evil and
All right.
lazy. I say we
Goodbye.
toss it. Corruption. More negativity, more pessimism. As bad as murder, says magistrate in governor case, giving the highest bail and bond requirement we have
Ever.
ever had in this
Yeah,
country.
In history.
150 million.
Yes. But for a magistrate to say that corruption is as bad as murder, you have already said that, or rather
You're
concluded
condemning.
that this
Yes.
suspect is corrupt. I really do not. I do not like the way the magistrate has treated the governor of Samburu.
Yeah, he's behaving like an activist, and I think that's completely outside the realm of his job description.
That is correct. But we have to note that bail and bond are within the realm of discretion.
Right.
There is no
Very true.
fixed term that you're given that this is what you must or must not give for bail.
Yes.
You're given guidelines to show you how far you can go in the reach.
Yeah.
And it's up to you as a magistrate or the judge, depending on who is offering the bail and the bond, to make a determination based on what you see before you in the court.
Yeah.
Look at the
facts.
the facts of the case. Look at the gravity of the issue that's before you.
Yeah.
Is the person who you're who is put before you a flight risk?
Yeah.
And are they at risk of doing another crime while they await trial?
Well, I hear you. That's within bail terms. But this case has been reviewed by Justice Mombi Goge.
Yes.
And she reversed
yeah.
this bill from 150 million shillings, or bond, whatever
Yes.
it was,
To
to 10 million shillings.
Yeah.
It tells you,
Took off 140
Yeah.
million.
I mean, there must have been a reason.
And I think it says a lot
Yeah.
about this judge. I think
Yeah.
it's factual.
Magistrate.
To say, sorry,
We must
magistrate.
say-
Oh
we
yes,
must
and I think we should, before
We
we
must
move on,
note
we should
the
make-
hierarchy within
Yes, we
the
should make that
judiciary.
classification.
Yeah.
That's very true. One is superior to the other. A judge and a magistrate are very different.
Yes.
But with this magistrate, I think it's important to note that he has a very high percentage of reversals on his
Or
on his
reviews.
judgments.
Yes.
Yeah, reviews on his on his
On
judgments.
his rulings.
I think that if you have so many, a set quotas, there should be a set quota. If the higher courts keep
Yeah.
reviewing a certain number of your decisions,
Yes.
at a certain point,
Yeah.
the JSC should stop it and review you as
yeah,
a
there's
magistrate.
something
Absolutely,
wrong.
absolutely. And if you see that, it's huge, because 150 on one side, 10 million,
10 million.
it tells you there's no collective theory of justice within the judiciary.
I have to agree, yes, there is no collective theory of justice, but I also like to add another thing. In that differentiation between a magistrate and a judge, no matter how high up, because a chief magistrate is quite high up, and that's as far up as you can go within the ranks of being a magistrate.
Yes.
But once, if he were to be made a judge today, he would go to State House to be
Yeah.
oathed.
Yes.
And that oath is found in our constitution, and that oath is the difference between him and Mumbingugi.
Okay.
And in that oath,
Yeah.
you put aside any prejudices you may have. For
Okay.
instance, stating that corruption is
Is
as bad as murder.
murder.
Because you swear to impartially
Yeah.
do justice in accordance with the constitution and by law established without,
Yes.
and I quote,
Yeah.
fear, favor, bias, affection, ill will, prejudice, or any,
Yeah.
and here's where it becomes tricky,
Yes.
political,
Yeah.
religious,
Yeah.
or other influence.
I feel like this
So
later.
my moral thoughts are put aside
Yeah.
when I become a
judge,
judge and
yeah.
take that oath.
Yeah.
So I will bring this from the 150 million emotive
Yes.
bail
Yeah.
to a 10
reasonable,
million
yeah.
reasonable
Yes.
bond.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned more law than I'll ever learn in a class.
Aha, Kondoko.
All right. So what do we think about this headline, though?
I say it's a good headline. because they got this guy, they put him before us. They also inadvertently reported him, showing how many of his decisions have been overturned
Yes.
and what he has done in the past.
Yes.
They put him out there for having
I do
a
wish,
line.
though, that had been part of the headline. I think that was what we should be focusing on, not the crazy statements that he's making. But that's my opinion.
But
you
that's
know,
what headlines are.
I guess, I suppose.
But maybe the Star was telling us, maybe there's a reason why they picked this up, and they said, corruption being as bad as murder, why would a judge, why would a judge or a magistrate say such a thing, even during just a mention of a case?
All right, whatever. I say we toss. Yeah.
Finally, the standard 6-meter road may crush top judge's career. This headline saddens me, and the story itself.
Yeah.
Justice Ojwang has a tribunal set up by the president. I feel like the president's hand was forced.
Yes.
Because at the point where the JSC refers him to form a tribunal, there's nothing he can do but form the tribunal within the timeline he's given. He formed it on the very last day.
Yes, on the 14th day.
So
I think, though, that we do need to give praise to the standard. This 6-meter road, well, I think this is the first time we found out what the road even looked like.
Yes.
This is the first paper that has gone to the ground and has told us what the road looked like, where it was. They've given us tangible details. They've given us pictures, right?
A picture.
Because before, a lot of the story was up in the air in terms of speculation.
Yes, it was. It was highly speculated.
I will say, for one thing, that the headline says 6-meter road, etc., whatever it was.
Crash top.
It's very misleading because it's not an actual 6-meter road in length. It's
a
6-meter road in width.
When I first read it, I was so confused. I said literally 6 meters, like it's not that far.
Yeah,
and
that's what we're complaining about.
What are we complaining about?
Yeah.
Guys, there's something JSC investigated Justice Jackton Ojwang for having gotten a mud road. Or a road made of mud.
Maram. In fact, a Maram road that has not even been updated. It's not in good repair.
Yeah.
So they wanted him to road to his house.
Here's the thing. By their own admission and by a surveyor who was sent to the ground, he said you do not get the sense that the road was made specifically leading up to his house.
For him.
It was made as a connecting road between that area and
another
other
one.
areas.
I think this is vendetta. Someone is looking for JBO John.
Someone is revisiting the judiciary, but it's not who we think it is. I think it's not.
Yeah. When we ask cui bono, who benefits?
Who benefits from this?
And not only from maybe his potential, he's suspended now.
Yes, he is.
Or his maybe dismissal from the JSC.
There's a potential dismissal from his position, but he stands suspended. So the question is cui bono at many levels. It's cui bono for who benefits from the tarnishing of his name as this goes on, but who also benefits if he is dismissed.
You know what's even more shocking is that a man who has had such an illustrious career, I think is the only judge who has...
The only Kenyan lawyer who has a JD, a Doctor of Law.
A PhD in a PhD?
No, he has a PhD first.
Yeah.
But he collected all his works and his thinkings, and they allowed him to get a higher law degree.
I mean, how can the JSC investigate such a man? I think it's
here. Let's lay out, before we go into the realm of speculation, let's just lay out a couple of things.
Right.
I will say this. Justice Ojwang gave a dissenting opinion.
Yes.
To the annulment of the
presidential election.
If we're to look at the judges of the Supreme Court
and
look at them using our own analysis, where we have said in the past that Kenyans, historically, we align ourselves ethnically. We look at the rest of the judges, they aligned themselves ethnically and fell within the correct box. Except
for one
JBO John. Now, JBO John is due to retire.
Yes.
He has had a wonderful career. And I don't understand why you would tarnish his name just before he is about to retire. Why don't you just wait it out and let him go his way in peace? Unless the attack is personal. I'm just saying.
So what do we think about the headline?
I think it's a good headline. I'd like to applaud the Fourth Estate for giving us a visual to the story, helping us put it in context.
Investigative journalism, and we don't get much of that.
So I say this is our winning headline.
Yep.
I like it.
Except for the misleading 6 meters, I think it's a...
Well,
it's a mad road, for goodness sake.
They had to give us clickbait, so you have to give them that.
It's a mad road.
Is that meant to be fire in the background?
No, I think it's just the background that they already had of the court.
Okay.
Yeah.
The wood.
Yeah, winning headline, I would agree.
I agree.
The Standard gives us our winning headline, and on to our next segment, the political opinions that we call cartoons in this country. Just like the headlines, we have a three-part criteria. Let me bring back our papers that we used to break them down for you. We asked ourselves 3 questions. Is the cartoon humorous or is it dry? Is the cartoon satirical or is it pessimistic? And finally, is the cartoon effective or just plain lazy?
Yep.
What do we begin with?
We start with the nation.
The nation.
Nene has really been letting us down.
Whoa.
No, it's funny. When Prof saw this cartoon, the first thing he asked, or he said rather, was, I don't understand.
What is this?
What is this?
I think it's meant to be playing golf,
Yeah.
and he's teeing off, and I don't even understand the golf lingo.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a caricature of the President Kenyatta having 2 decisions to make.
Yes.
So is he going to go for his legacy, or is
Yes.
he going to go for Ruto 2022? And he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Essentially.
I don't think it's a dilemma. He's quite happy.
I
think he's quite happy.
I want to, there's something with Munene's mind that maybe we haven't figured, and I'm not going to attack him. And maybe this is the president's dilemma.
It's not a dilemma. Look at his face. He's quite happy to make the decision.
He's happy in all those 3. When he's hitting the ball, when he's pointing at Legacy or Ruto, he's happy.
Okay, maybe if I could ask you guys, is this cartoon reflecting reality, or is it reflecting a version of reality that Munene wants us to see?
And I think it's reflecting reality. I know it's describing reality. There's nothing new about what Munene is telling
But
me.
Munene is trying to tell
I
us.
don't think this is a version of reality because, first of all, you'd have to explain to me exactly what this legacy is that he has a hard decision making.
Do you know what it is?
And how it is far removed from 2022.
Maybe what Munene is telling us is that there is an Uhuru swindle. That all this while, building bridges and everything is being made to look like legacy. But come 2022, Uhuru will actually have Ruto as his successor.
I feel like you're reaching.
Yeah, I think it's overreading.
Who
completely.
knows?
You're
Who
reaching
knows?
with that. So I'm going to ask you, is it humorous?
Nope.
No.
So it's dry.
Yeah.
Is it satirical?
Nope.
I think there is a layer of satire
We
here.
just don't get to
Yeah.
it. It falls short a little bit. So we can't call it pessimistic, but it doesn't hit the satirical mark.
Yeah.
And then finally, is it effective?
For a very dry humor. Throw this thing.
All right. We toss.
The Star.
This one I like.
Ozone.
Ozone today, I like you. Right?
Yeah.
It's a caricature of. He's resigned.
He is resigning.
He's resigning.
Yeah.
Steps
So he's
down.
still current.
Yes.
President of Algeria, Abdulaziz Bouteflika. And he's come off a bigger wheelchair, which is Algeria. And he's already in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And now he say Bouteflika steps down. So it shows Algeria itself is already sick. That's why it's on a wheelchair.
Yes, he had a stroke in 2013.
Yeah, and the man himself is also on a wheelchair, but now he's stepping down from the sick country.
Yeah.
I find it,
I
without
like it.
over-analyzing, I found it
like it.
humorous.
I like it.
And it had some satire.
Yeah,
I
no,
like
I think
it.
this is fantastic. Yeah.
I
I really
it.
liked it.
This is a good start, Ozone. Yeah, very well done.
I like it. I
So
like
what
it.
can we do? Can we put in the parking bay? We see what
Parking
Gado
bay.
has done
Yeah.
against what Ozone has done today.
Yes.
At least we have some sort of dilemma.
Oh man,
What do you see, Tuam?
it's I love this caricature of, you like to say, is the first estate,
Yes.
the second estate, the third estate. There's no fourth estate here.
But they implied.
But
Yeah.
and you have the leadership of the nation, which is Uhuru with the prince caricature, right?
Wearing his
Wearing
timepiece.
his timepiece.
Cannot be a watch.
You
Too
have
big.
yes, you have Deputy President wearing his Kalasinga hat, a caricature of him.
Arap
then you-
Mashamba?
Wait, and then you have
It's not me.
and then you
It's
have
the caricature.
you have Raila Odinga dancing with the Gado five. These are caricatures of corrupt people.
Yeah, yeah. Then
Right?
we have the hyena.
And the hyena, faceless
The
person,
pig.
the pig, the fox, and
Somebody who I think he intended to look like Prophet Or.
yes. Now I was coming to that, and then
Oh,
you got the clergy.
sorry.
Then you have the clergy, you have Prophet of War, I think you have Archbishop, I don't want to say who it is. and someone else who looks like
A
who?
reverend.
Is a reverend, right?
Nameless, yes.
And in the background, you know that song is playing, but you know what's falling from the top?
Money.
I thought it was paper, but yeah, I think it's
money.
It's
no,
money.
it's perfect that it's money. It really is. Because
money.
as the caption says, this
Yes.
is the state of the
nation.
nation.
I love it.
You have
I
the
love
first
it.
3 estates,
Yes.
drowning in money.
Drowning in money, well, countries impoverished and they're enjoying themselves
And all of
they're
this-
asking for more blessings.
And you know why I say that it's implied, the theft is implied? Because
Yeah.
the fourth estate has been pushing an agenda and putting before us corruption
Yeah.
over corruption over corruption.
Yes.
And personally, I think that this is the cartoon of the year.
Is this?
Most definitely.
Of the year,
This-
until somebody talks
Until
it.
this
I
is to be
love
talked,
this.
But
yeah.
don't you guys love how Prophet Uhuru has been?
He looks so creepy. It's not him, it's a caricature of him.
A caricature of Prophet Owen.
Very scary.
We'll go with that.
I love it.
Fantastic
I
cartoon.
love this, and I'm so sorry, Ozone, but you today fall at the feet of the cartoon of
Yes.
the year by Gado, the state
All right, so we
of
toss
the
this one.
nation.
Yeah.
We toss that.
It's going to be very hard to beat this. Very, 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 very hard to beat
Oh,
this.
at the side of the cartoon, by the way, there's something very interesting that Gado says.
Yes. They say, with apology to Our Lady of Fatima Kongowea Catholic Church Choir. This, I believe, is a group that sang the song.
And we do apologize, but the song does
Yes.
give an
But-
apt
It is
description.
perfect.
But there's a reason why he's saying with apology. The context of this is not really.
Oh yes,
good.
true. Yeah, the
You're
context of
using
the song with
yeah,
the imagery.
You're using a religious song to depict a fun-loving,
Fun loving. This is revelry, debauchery, and all-out sin.
You said it.
So do we have a winning cartoon?
Yes, we
absolutely.
do. We have a winning cartoon for the year.
Yeah.
Gado, I love it. It's my
Fantastic.
best cartoon.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will be giggling and thinking about it for weeks to come.
Yeah.
Before we wind down,
Yes.
are there any final thoughts?
Fun.
To whom you have? Oh, you have to say.
I always have one. Right?
And now,
And now, a final thought. Miss K, you said something today, and it stirred on my mind. You know, when the State of the Nation address was happening, the president, the deputy president, the speaker, the CDF, all service commanders were in one building. Should there have been an airstrike, for example, who would be the designated survivor?
a designated survivor, just so we're clear,
can
is an
explain that,
individual who is picked in the US context to represent or to hold state power in the event of anything going wrong in situations where you have the president, the deputy president, and all other persons in the line of succession in one location.
Absolutely.
And they use this concept at least in two occasions.
Yes.
During an inauguration, because
Yeah.
then you'd have them in one location,
Yes.
Yes.
or during a State of the Union address.
Yes.
And I think that our State of the Nation equivalents their State of the Union and is a high-risk situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
that is an important thing.
I think from now on, the deputy president, the speaker has to be there because he's leader of the house. Deputy president should be in another location.
Undisclosed,
Undisclosed.
and secure.
Yeah.
But I think, in the US, the vice president equivalent would be present.
He would be present, a cabinet
another
member.
random person
It's a
who would
cabinet
be-
member that
Yes.
they use for the US context, so
Yeah.
that the deputy president still gets to sit in during
Yeah.
the State of the Union and an inauguration, but
Yeah.
a cabinet member
Yes,
holds office
Yes,
as the
in the event.
designated survivor.
absolutely.
I don't know.
All right.
It was a random thought.
Yeah.
It was.
Any other final thought?
No, I
No,
think that
final
is
thought
it.
is just mine.
This is the Fifth Estate. Winning headlines. See you tomorrow.